Part 19. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 183. The reason why Yunyan said there was no problem is very simple. The Yanjai umbrella can store laws, so Yang Hao can use the Yanjai umbrella to absorb a large amount of the five elements laws. With Yang Hao's talent, as long as he can be surrounded by a large number of five elements laws, it is only a matter of time before he breaks through to the Great Avenue. Since Yang Hao unearthed the Yanjai umbrella, in the remaining year, Yang Hao began to practice while spending a lot of spiritual power to activate the Yanjai umbrella to absorb the five elements laws all over the mountains and plains. The 1-year period is here in the blink of an eye. A full 10 years have passed since Yang Hao came to the world of five elements avenue in the blink of an eye. Although he has not yet teleported away, Yang Hao can already sense that the world of five elements avenue is gradually beginning to reject him, and the five elements laws that appear around him are becoming increasingly rare. It's done. But on this day, Yang Hao's eyes suddenly flashed with a miraculous light. He sensed that the five elements law in his body, which had long been transformed into a divine gate, was gradually replaced by a source, as if it could generate the power of the law at all times. Perhaps it should be removed. Because it's true. The five elements law in Yang Hao's body turned into the source of the five elements. Although the birth was slow, the five elements law was indeed slowly born. Is this the ultimate law? Sensing the five elements law in his body, Yang Hao felt that he had extremely high control over the five elements law in the world. He even recalled that when he was on the second floor of Wandao Pavilion, he had obtained the power of quasi-sage and could the moment when words are spoken. Although I still can't follow the rules, I have a superb understanding of the five elements law. In the prehistoric killing array, the phenomenon of the five elements law also appeared. It seems that this supreme killing array is starting to become more real, as if it is evolving towards a world. Yang Hao's eyes were bright. He knew that his combat power at this moment had become stronger after 10 years of baptism in the world of five elements avenue. At least, he should be more comfortable facing a saint of Wenwan's level. If I can completely control the five elements law into one avenue, then I can easily kill some saints. Yang Hao regretted that after all, he still did not turn his five elements law into the great way in the world of five elements avenue. Fortunately, Yanjai umbrella has accumulated a large number of endless five elements laws. He has made preparations. When he leaves the world of five elements avenue, he returned to the holy land of eternal life and began to retreat. He would not leave the retreat without evolving the five elements law into the great way. While Yang Hao was thinking, he suddenly felt a shock in his body. Then, his figure began to slowly disappear from the world of the five elements great way. The time has come. 10 years have passed, and the time in the world of five elements avenue has come to an end. With almost no pause, Yang Hao's figure disappeared from the world of five elements avenue, and immediately appeared on the familiar Ziwei star. Call. Yang Hao breathed in the familiar and rich spiritual energy of the Ziwei big star, and looked at the ancient world tree that could be seen from time to time below, knowing that his journey to the great Dao world was completely over. Let's go back to the holy land of eternal life first. He took out a divine boat from the sea of spiritual energy without thinking, and after determining his location, he rushed back towards the holy land of eternal life. It was teleported from the great Dao world and usually appeared randomly anywhere on the Ziwei star. This time, after Yang Hao flew for a while, he knew that he had appeared in the western desert, which was quite far away from the holy land of eternal life. Fortunately, the Shenzhou was extremely fast, and it took only a few days for Yang Hao to see the familiar eternal life. The gate of the holy land. His divine boat did not stop at any time and went directly to the Yaoguang Immortal Peak. Of course, when he returned, there were naturally a series of thoughts coming to him. After sensing Yang Hao's aura, there was no doubt that it was stirring in the holy land of eternal life. It made waves. But it was not as violent as imagined. After all, 10 years had passed since Yang Hao was ambushed and killed, which was extremely short. After that day, the one who really attracted attention was actually Zhang Wu. After Holy Master Zhang came out of seclusion, more than 10 holy places including Qinyang Holy Land, Qiankun Holy Land, and Good Fortune Holy Land participated in the siege of Emperor Zunyu. Every time Saint Zhang visits a holy land, a saint dies. In addition, every holy place was bleeding heavily and gave extremely expensive compensations. Those things were all placed by Zhang Sheng on Yaoguang Immortal Peak. Yang Hao returned to Yaoguang Immortal Peak and heard Lu Yan's detailed report. She was still in awe of Zhang Wu and called Zhang Wu the Holy Lord. In fact, it was not just Lu Yan. After that day, there were too many disciples in the Eternal Holy Land who worshipped Zhang Wu enthusiastically. They only recognized Zhang Wu and did not know the great elder. More than a dozen means more than a dozen sages. These are all profound foundations. When Yang Hao heard this, he couldn't help but sigh. He didn't expect that after he chased him into the Dao world that day, Zhang Wu still refused to give up and set off a killing storm again. More than a dozen sages were harvested like cabbage. Even if he was extremely shocked and moved when he heard it. It's a pity that my aunt went into seclusion. Yang Hao had time to listen to Lu Yan's report, naturally because he could not find Zhang Wu. According to Lu Yan, because he knew that he would not be able to return in the short term, Zhang Wu also looked for a secret place to retreat. Go down, I will also practice in seclusion next. Hello, practice. My current cultivation level is still a bit low. Yang Hao said casually to Lu Yan. When Lu Yan heard this, he felt ashamed. She has now reached the 9th level of the powerful realm, and her speed is actually extremely fast, but it is nothing compared to the monster Yang Hao. Yang Hao sent Lu Yan away after going down. He went to take a look at the apology Zhang Wu left for him in various holy places. Generous. It's simply a moving treasury. Even Yang Hao could only be filled with emotion after reading this. I don't know how magnificent Zhang Wu was back then, so that all the major holy places were squeezed by her. I can't let my aunt alone take the limelight. Yang Hao immediately began to retreat. He walked into the Yanjai umbrella and began to eagerly absorb a large number of 5 elements laws. Not only that, a large number of divine treasures were taken by him. Time passed again. In the blink of an eye, 3 years passed again. Yang Hao is still in retreat at the Yaoguang Immortal Peak. In the past few years, after the advent of the Great World, countless evil geniuses have sprung up every year. Various places of opportunity have also begun to appear crazily. The situation is changing, and the avenues of the galaxy are changing. Flashing from time to time, countless stars rise, and countless stars fall. What remains unchanged is the 3 main stars that shine in the sky, making everyone look up to them. Of course, the Dao Tiangang stars are also extremely noble, and almost nothing has happened over the years. Changes. But on this day, the Dao galaxy suddenly made waves. A Dao Tiangang star rose slowly. At the same time, the eternal restricted area suddenly spread 30,000 miles of purple energy. A line that once existed thousands of years ago. The missing figure walked out of it, and every move and gesture was a manifestation of the truth. For a time, it caused countless shocks. There is no doubt that it was this figure that caused the Dao Tiangang star in the Dao galaxy to rise. Moreover, the momentum has not yet been reached. Ended. As this figure gradually walked out, as if shrinking into an inch, a step of thousands of miles, and soon the purple energy followed him. He is, the Holy Son of the Heavenly Lord who according to legend of the Holy Land of Heaven and Earth, fell into the eternal restricted area 8,000 years ago. How is it possible? Is he resurrected? No, he was not resurrected, he got a chance in the eternal forbidden zone. Not only did he come out alive, but his cultivation level skyrocketed. The Holy Son of Heavenly Lord, he can no longer be called Heavenly Lord, but should be called Heavenly Lord Saint. He moves his hands and feet, speaks the Dharma, and manifests his principles. He has become a saint. A series of shocking sounds sounded. A holy son who was thought to have died 8,000 years ago has returned. Not only did he return, but he also became a saint from being weak in the past to not even being a powerful person. What has he experienced in the eternal forbidden zone for 8,000 years? What did you get? Dao Tiangang Star. Another truly peerless genius was born in this great world. Under everyone's shocked calls, the heavenly Lord Saint entered the holy land of heaven and earth and returned in glory, shocking the world. However, everyone then discovered that it was not just the Tianjun Saint. The eternal forbidden zone, a terrifying place that ranks among the top 3 of the 10 most dangerous places in the Ziwei star, gradually has the return of genius monsters who have either disappeared or have long since fallen. When these genius monsters almost walked out of the eternal forbidden zone, they immediately triggered the Dao galaxy, and their Dao stars immediately rose. It's just that these genius monsters who subsequently came out of the eternal forbidden area are not monsters to the level of heavenly kings and saints. They can only be ranked as evil stars in the galaxy. But even so, it still attracted countless attention from the world. What happened in the eternal forbidden zone? Why do so many geniuses return? Unfortunately, most people cannot resolve these confusions. Only those holy places where geniuses have returned can understand the secret. Another half year has passed. Shaking light immortal peak, suddenly the heaven and earth shook. What happened? A vision of heaven and earth. Lu Yan looked at the clouds above the sky and the earth, but she frowned in deep thought. The clouds in the sky gave her an ominous premonition. It is a vision of heaven and earth, but it is not auspicious, but a punishment from heaven. What did the master do? Besides, the figure of the pure-blood phoenix Suqing appeared and said to Lu Yan _please download the novel without underlining. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 184. At the Yaoguang Immortal Peak, Lu Yan, Suqing, and Xiao Nanan all appeared one after another, watching the strange phenomena of heaven and earth evolve into divine punishment. Except for the innocent little girl, the other 2 girls looked worried. Divine punishment rarely occurs. Once it appears, it will be extremely violent and will not stop until the people it attracts are suppressed and killed. At this moment, besides them, there was only Yang Hao in Yaoguang Immortal Peak. There is naturally no suspense about those who can attract divine punishment. Yang Hao, who was in retreat, was smiling and seemed unaware that the punishment from heaven was coming. I didn't expect that I could really break through to the extreme and control the 5 elements. He was also very shocked. In fact, the more he practiced and realized, the more difficult it became for Yang Hao to control the Dao. Even though he had reached the extreme of the law and was constantly traveling among the endless laws of the 5 elements with his astonishing understanding, the closer he felt to the Dao. It feels more and more out of reach. According to Yunyan, it is the transformation of the law into the Tao, which is about a sudden enlightenment. Being able to reach the extreme of the law is actually qualified. Entering the world of the Tao through the Tao gate is only with the help of the extremely rich Dao environment got the opportunity of that flash of inspiration. What Yang Hao didn't expect at all was that when he was still confused about how to transform the laws into Dao, on this day, after suddenly gathering the 5 elements laws, he sensed the movement of the supreme immortal bone in his body. Then, something unexpected happened. He had perfected the 5 elements law and transformed it directly into the Tao. Without any shackles or difficulties, the Tao was transformed naturally, as if it came naturally. In this way the feeling made Yang Hao himself a little unbelievable. Is it said that the evolution of the Great Road is as difficult as climbing to the sky? It is said that it requires an opportunity of sudden enlightenment. Why does the law directly evolve into the Great Road without needing anything at all? Induction changes were slowly taking place in his body, and Yang Hao's eyes shrank. there was an extremely powerful force coming from the source of the five elements law, which was continuously poured into his sea of spiritual energy, causing a qualitative change in his sea of spiritual energy. At the same time, the prehistoric killing formation also roared, and lifelike auras were born. The entire prehistoric killing formation became extremely vivid under the nourishment of the source of the five elements law. Supreme Immortal Bone. Yang Hao's heart suddenly moved. His mind kept making crazy calculations, and finally he remembered why he had made a direct and unhindered breakthrough just now. Is it the function of the Supreme Immortal Bone? In Yang Hao's memory, it was after his five elements law reached its peak that it seemed to have touched the Supreme Immortal Bone, allowing him to instantly break the shackles. He turned over the system income records. Suddenly, records appeared in Yang Hao's mind very faithfully. Bright eyes. Earned 120 million points for understanding the five elements law. Obtained 200 million points due to the Supreme Immortal Bone touched and break through the shackles. Earned 300 million points due to the path of law evolution. Yang Hao looked at the record, his eyes glowed, and his heart was shaken. He couldn't help but face up to the Supreme Immortal Bone in his body. This Supreme Immortal Bone has always occupied the most central position in his body since he came to this world. Even after the birth of the Sea of Spiritual Energy, the prehistoric killing array came into being, and the crystallization of laws appeared, it was still unable to seize the core position of the Supreme Immortal Bone in the Sea of Spiritual Energy. All this time, the role of the Supreme Immortal Bone has been subconsciously ignored by him. Is the Supreme Immortal Bone useful? In the past, he condensed his divine body, among which was the unparalleled Supreme Enlightened Divine Body. The true immortal divine body was brought from the Supreme Immortal Bone. In other words, the reason why his understanding is so terrifying now is because of his bones. But what confused Yang Hao was, the Supreme Immortal Bone can be upgraded. As he now has more and more points, he can easily get hundreds of millions of points. The originally terrifying point limit of the Supreme Immortal Bone has already been filled to the limit by him, and there is no place to upgrade. But what makes Yang Hao regretful is that no matter how he adds points to the Supreme Immortal Bone, it has no effect. It seems that the Supreme Immortal Bone no longer has any role other than providing enlightenment blessing. Now, on the system's income record, the origin of the evolution of its own rules is clearly written. It is precisely because the Supreme Immortal Bone is touched. Can it only be touched once, or can every avenue be broken through the Supreme Immortal Bone, ignoring the shackles? At this time, Yang Hao had even wilder thoughts. If this is the case, he can make reasonable use of the Destiny Gate to let him realize the Destiny Path. Not in a hurry. The law of destiny is supreme and mysterious. I will test it again. If the Supreme Immortal Bone can really ignore the shackles of the law of evolution, then I can consider using the fate section. However, you must at least condense the crystal of destiny before entering the door of destiny. At this moment, Yang Hao thought of the law of destiny through the Supreme Immortal Bone. After all, he had previously decided that the ninth law of the giant realm was decided to be the law of destiny. Naturally, he thinks about it all the time. Master, the avenue will evolve into. But, a vision from heaven and earth arrived. At this time, Yunyan reminded. Yang Hao immediately turned his mind, and he naturally sensed the arrival of the vision of heaven and earth. It's not auspiciousness, but a punishment from heaven. Yunyan, is it because I ignored the shackles of the realm and controlled the avenue in the giant realm? Hearing Yang Hao's question, Yunyan was silent for a moment and then said slowly, I don't know either. After all, I have never heard of a giant who can evolve into a great avenue. With Yunyan's vast knowledge, this is indeed unheard of. She didn't know what was going on just now, why she clearly felt that her master didn't even have a hint of enlightenment, and the five elements law began to evolve into a great way in an instant. That's all. After bathing in auspicious visions so many times, Let's experience this heavenly punishment vision. Looking at this posture, it is impossible to evolve into a great path if you don't survive this natural punishment. Yang Hao has already sensed at this moment that as the divine punishment comes, the source of the law that is evolving in his body begins to slow down, as if someone has released time to slow down. He knows very well that the sudden divine punishment it is the last obstacle on his way to evolve into the five elements avenue. Rumble. The extremely terrifying thunder turned into blazing white and kept jumping. At this time, it crashed down like crazy. Extreme tribulation thunder. How could the ultimate tribulation thunder appear? Who triggered this heavenly punishment? What kind of treasonous and unethical things have you done? Such a big movement was immediately noticed by the old monsters gathered in the holy land of eternal life. They walked out one after another and looked at the Yaoguang immortal peak from a distance, not daring to get close. Yes, I dare not get close. No matter what realm a strong person is in, once they get close to the heavenly punishment, they will attract a terrifying heavenly punishment that can destroy the corresponding realm. When heaven's punishment appears, it is the punishment of heaven and earth, and no one can help. Violators will be killed together. When they saw Yang Hao's figure appearing under the Jidao tribulation thunder, they became even more confused. As we all know, Yang Hao is the main star of the avenue. He is loved by the endless destiny of heaven and earth. He can be called the darling of heaven. How can there be punishment from heaven and calamity? Just when everyone was looking at Yang Hao with some frowns as he was about to be killed by heaven's punishment, a scene that surprised everyone appeared. The originally cloudy sky began to slowly dissipate. The vision of the Jidao tribulation thunder, which had been brewing for a long time, began to collapse and disappear at the moment it was about to fall. What's happening here? Don't know, never seen it. Why did Emperor Zun attract heavenly punishment, and then heavenly punishment dispersed on its own initiative? Everyone looked at Yang Hao in confusion, and Yang Hao was also confused at this moment. He had just walked out and was already preparing to face the punishment from heaven. But when he saw the thunder in the sky dissipating, the momentum that was originally ready to go was gone. It can only gradually disperse. Naturally, Yunyan cannot know what happened. Yang Hao can only use the old method and look at the system income record. Earned 150 million points for discovering the thunder phenomenon of the ultimate tribulation. Earned 200 million points for supreme immortal bone touch. Earned 300 million points due to the path of law evolution. After Yang Hao saw the system income records, his expression became weird again. Is it because of the supreme immortal bone again? It seems that the effect of this supreme immortal bone is much more powerful than I imagined. When my aunt dug up the supreme immortal bones for me in the past, she would never have thought that the supreme immortal bones today would change like this. He laughed. Naturally, the supreme immortal bone in his body is no longer what it was originally. Instead, after countless upgrades, it has become the most complete supreme immortal bone. Perhaps, with this piece of supreme immortal bone, he can easily break through. Can the shackles of the Great Road also avoid the punishment of heaven? Yang Hao just made a simple guess and began to pay attention to his body. At this moment, after the law of the five elements dissipated in the extreme tribulation thunder phenomenon, the Great Road gradually evolved completely. Seeing the original source of the five elements laws in the body turning into a bright and colorful river, from which infinite principles emerged, Yang Hao was instantly enlightened and suddenly became enlightened. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 185. There is a world of difference between the law and the avenue. Just like the power of Dao patterns used before the foundation is cast, it is the same as the spiritual power after the foundation is cast. Dimensionality reduction attack. It is not the power of a world at all. Even though Yang Hao had already fought with the saint and had already experienced the power of the great Dao, understanding it and controlling it were two completely different things. Now Yang Hao can easily sense the five elements avenue transformed into the five elements law in his body, and he can mobilize the power of the avenue in just one thought. A wisp of power of the great Dao can easily crush the power of 100 or 1,000 laws. This is the power of complete transformation. By mobilizing the power of the great avenue, the space can be easily shattered and the world becomes barren. At this moment, Yang Hao finally understood the principle behind the words. If you want to use the law, you need to understand it, mobilize it, and release it. The process is tedious, just like making friends, you have to be cautious and walk on thin ice. But there is no need for the Dao. He is the emperor himself. In a word, the law is like soldiers, and everyone follows them. How can it be compared? After controlling the power of the five elements avenue, I no longer need to fear ordinary saints. Yang Hao said with emotion, everyone controls the power of the Dao, and the Dao he controls evolves with special laws. You must know that a saint like Wenwan is already an extremely evil saint. It is impossible for a normal saint to control the special laws. The evolved avenue. Generally speaking, most saints evolve into ordinary avenues. He controls the special avenue, and naturally returns to the same starting line, or even gets ahead of him. Facing the saint again, what should he fear? Not only that. As I control the five elements avenue, the prehistoric killing array can also truly change qualitatively. Yang Hao also sensed that the primordial killing formation, which had just exuded a vivid aura in his body, was now connected to the primordial killing formation by the five elements avenue. The entire killing formation seemed to be completely sealed and began to produce wonderful chemical reactions. This is an excellent sign, which means that the prehistoric killing array has begun to develop towards the small world. I need to continue practicing. Lu Yan, I don't see anyone visiting me these days. Whether it is to understand and become familiar with the latest power of the five elements avenue or to cultivate the prehistoric killing array, it will take time. Yang Hao knew that if such a strange phenomenon in the world was triggered, people would naturally come to the Holy Land to investigate, but he had no intention of paying attention to it again. Entering the state of practice. As Yang Hao expected, when he entered the state of practice again, many powerful people from the Holy Land of Eternal Life came to investigate. However, although Yang Hao is not yet a saint in the Holy Land of Eternal Life, he has already suppressed with his saint-level record and his terrifying talent, even those old monsters need to give him some face. After learning that Yang Hao continued to practice, even if he was confused about the vision of heaven and earth that had just appeared, they all left one after another and stopped bothering Yang Hao. Just like that, time began to pass again. This is often the case in the years of practice, and half a year passed in the blink of an eye. Although half a year was not long, Yang Hao's gains were incomparable. Rich. In addition to the completion of the qualitative transformation of the prehistoric killing array, which has become much stronger again, and has even begun to evolve into the small world, Yang Hao has become more and more proficient in controlling the power of the avenue. In private, the hidden Onling Saint was taken in by him in the Wei Tower. The two had many battles and trainings. Over the years, even though Onling Saint's strength has improved by leaps and bounds under the care of Yang Hao, he was still easily suppressed by Yang Hao. Back then, he needed the help of the Jidao Emperor's soldiers. Onling Saint, who could only suppress him, now had no power to fight back in front of Yang Hao. This gave Yang Hao a great sense of accomplishment. The giant has reached the 8th level. Not only that, Yang Hao sensed that the space law condensed into crystals in his body, and he successfully entered the 8th level of the giant realm. The reason why he was able to enter the realm so quickly was because of the divine treasure that Zhongwu obtained after washing the Holy Land for him. There are a large number of space divine crystals in it. It is precisely because of the large number of space divine crystals that he can comprehend the laws of space smoothly and form space crystals. At this point, Yang Hao only lacks the understanding of the law of destiny to reach the 9th level of the giant realm. Began to try to condense biomass. What's wrong? On this day, Yang Hao suddenly opened his eyes, as if he sensed something. Lu Yan's fiery figure appeared in front of him. Lord, Master. There is an urgent matter concerning you. Lu Yan's tone was a little timid at this moment. He did not call Yang Hao the emperor as usual, but respectfully called the master. Yang Hao knew that Lu Yan at this time was not a mature sister, but a kind sister. Say it. But Yang Hao didn't care. He had long been accustomed to the personality changes between Lu Yan's sisters. Both the elder and younger sisters were very measured. They knew that they were practicing and ordered not to disturb them, but they still came to report. It must be important. This is what happened. That Xiao Qing'er entered the Beifang fire god territory many years ago and never left. It is said that she got a shocking opportunity. But her master, Lan Shen, has already stepped forward and received a great opportunity. Lu Yan slowly and carefully told Yang Hao the news he had received. Hearing this, Yang Hao gradually narrowed his eyes. Interesting. Things are indeed very interesting. Lu Yan has already told him the whole story, and this matter does have a lot to do with him. Xiao Qing'er, let's make another engagement. Naturally, the engagement partner is not him, but another person. Tianjun Saint. A saint who walked out of the eternal forbidden zone and received the supreme opportunity. He showed interest in his eyes. Tianjun Saint, he actually knew the origin of the other party through Lu Yan's narration. The other party is now ranked in the Dao Tiangang Star, and is the most popular G-Dao powerhouse in the past few years. As after he came out of the eternal forbidden zone, he did not sharpen his edge and recharge his energy like those old monsters. Instead, he was extremely arrogant and defeated several powerful people in the world. The most interesting thing is that this Tianjun Saint and today's Lan Saints are related by blood. When Saint Tianjun was still the holy son of Qincan Holy Land, Saint Lan was the ancestor of Saint Tianjun. This is not surprising. Beings like Saint Lan who live for an extremely long time, although she is not, it belongs to the holy land of Qincan, but a saint lives for too long, and it is inevitable that he will be causally involved with many great forces. Naturally, there are various descendants left. Some are his own blood, and some are the blood of brothers and sisters. Often one saint there are countless descendants behind the saint. If these descendants are powerful monsters, they will naturally attract the attention of the saint. If they are in a good mood, they will be rewarded with some divine objects and techniques. If they are extremely monsters and become the sons of the saint, they will naturally attract the favor of the saint. This Saint Tianjun was the chief saint of Qincan Holy Land at the beginning, so he naturally received the favor of Saint Lan, just like how Saint Yuhang was favored by Patriarch Bingfeng. Now, Saint Tianjun appears in this world. What happened next? Naturally everyone knows it now. The chief saint son of the Holy Land of Qincan mistakenly entered the forbidden area of eternity and remained silent for 8,000 years. When everyone thought he had fallen, he returned as a saint, full of glory. According to Lu Yan, after leaving the Beifang fire god realm, Lan Shen was in a very good mood when he learned about Saint Tianjun. Before Xiao Qing'er had even walked out of the secret realm, he made the decision to make a marriage contract and let Saint Tianjun become Xiao Qing'er's path. Couple. Both of them are ranked in the Dao Tiangang Star. Although there is definitely a gap in realm strength, they are considered a good match in everyone's eyes. If there is no accident, the two parties will officially get married after Xiao Qing'er walks out. However, if this is the case, Lu Yan will not report it to Yang Hao. After all, the engagement between Xiao Qing'er and Yang Hao has ended long ago, and there is no longer any affection between the two. Let's marry Xiao Qing'er if the Saint Tianjun marries her today. He has a somewhat shameless demeanor. Do you want to please Xiao Qing Still want to use me as a stepping stone? Interesting. Yang Hao murmured to himself. That's right. After Saint Tianjun made a marriage contract with Xiao Qing he naturally needed to know about Xiao Qing's past. Yang Hao has always been something Xiao Qing can't get around in her life. A big mountain. After the Saint Tianjun knew Yang Hao's identity and achievements, he announced that he would come to challenge Yang Hao in person. A saint challenged the giant realm. Even though Yang Hao had too many auras, he even killed quasi-sages. Powerful. The terrible record of the enemy saint and the shameless behavior of the Saint Tianjun were refreshing, which made Lu Yan immediately come to report to Yang Hao. When is he going to come? Yang Hao asked casually. Does the other party want to challenge him? Faced with such shameless people, his way of dealing with them has always been very simple. Just get in front of the other party and kill him by surprise or suppress de hua. No, don't know. But it is said that the sage Tianjun has always been very decisive. He should arrive at the Holy Land of Eternal Life within this month at most. Yang Hao smiled when he heard this. But he said to Lu Yan, he is faster than you think. As soon as the words fell, the entire Holy Land of Eternal Life suddenly resounded with a shocking sound. I, the Holy Heavenly Lord, have heard that the Emperor of the Holy Land of Eternal Life is extremely elegant and suppresses his contemporaries, so I came here today to ask for advice. The words are calm, neither humble nor arrogant, but they contain murderous intent, detonating the Holy Land of Eternal Life. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 186. Heavenly Lord Saint? He actually came. He is a saint, and Emperor Zun is only at the level of a giant. If he wants to overwhelm Emperor Zun, it is a bit too much. This is indeed the case. Even if Emperor Zun once had a record of killing saints, it was still a special situation. Saint Tianjun is not an ordinary saint. As the voice of Saint Tianjun fell, many elders of the eternal Holy Land flew out of the mountain gate and frowned at the sight of Saint Tianjun. Yang Hao is the brightest star of this generation in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. He has already proven himself with countless fights. He even showed his giant-level strength when he was ambushed more than 10 years ago. Like Lu Yan, they had heard the news before that Saint Tianjun was coming to challenge Yang Hao, but most of them regarded it as a rumor. After all, many people know about the past between Xiao Qing and Yang Hao. Coupled with Tianjun Saint, these three people are the most outstanding monsters in Zhiwei Star. It's really not surprising that someone made it up and misinformed it. But something that no one expected happened today. Saint Tianjun really came to the Holy Land of Eternal Life and wanted to fight Yang Hao. In the eyes of everyone, it is not so much a challenge as it is relying on the strong to bully the weak. Naturally, they do not want to see the scene happen. Heavenly Lord Saint, Emperor Zun is in retreat. You are also a saint, Emperor Zun is just a giant, the gap is too big, why fight? If you want to fight, you can. It wouldn't be a bad idea to wait until Emperor Zun breaks through the realm and becomes a saint to fight again. At this time, between the mountain gates of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, a slender woman with a charming aura walked out with a smile, raised her hands and exuded a terrifying aura and pressed towards the Heavenly Lord Saint who was standing with his hands tied. It turned out to be the second elder of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. This statement is inappropriate. According to what I know, Emperor Zun once killed the ancient sword saint and suppressed the royal transformation saint. Although he is a giant, he already has the combat power of a saint. He is worthy of being the master star of this era. The realms are different, but there is not much difference in combat power. If possible, I am willing to wait for Emperor Zun to become a saint before fighting again. That is fair. However, this saint also has his own reasons. My fiancé was once humiliated by the emperor. Since I want to become a Taoist couple with my fiancé, and fate coexists, the cause and effect will inevitably be involved. This Sacred Heart has the ambition to attain enlightenment, so it must not be subject to this cause and effect, so it naturally needs to be resolved. Second Elder, do you understand? Sage Tianjun has a face like a crown jade, with dragon eyebrows and phoenix eyes. His eyebrows reveal confidence and arrogance. He sensed the terrible pressure coming from the second elder, but he explained with a chuckle. The truth is evident in his movements. Transformation, easily neutralizing all the power of the second elder. So it turns out that this is for Xiao Qing'er to settle the cause and effect. When the second elder heard this, he showed a look of surprise. She immediately said, since we haven't formed a Taoist couple yet, then naturally there is no cause and effect. Besides, Emperor Zun is practicing in seclusion, and cats and dogs cannot disturb him at will. Tianjun, I have heard about you. If you want to fight, how about letting me satisfy you? The second elder was smiling at this moment and said to the heavenly Lord Saint. The second elder is so powerful that Tianjun is ashamed of himself. Is Emperor Zun retreating to recuperate from his injuries? I heard that more than 10 years ago, he spent a huge price and wasted a 5 elements Dao sect to enter the Dao world to hunt down the Yuhua sage, but was plotted by the Yuhua sage and returned without success. It seems to be true, but it's a bit of a pity. But it doesn't matter. I believe that with Emperor Zun's talent, he should be able to recover soon. I will practice here, and it is not a bad idea to wait until Emperor Zun recovers from his injuries before fighting again. When Saint Tianjun heard this, he did not accept the second elder's invitation to fight. Instead, he showed a look of surprise and said casually. The second elder frowned. What Saint Tianjun said was exactly the reason why she walked out. Naturally, she did not want to let Yang Hao fight the heavenly Lord Saint. At this moment, the Holy Land of Eternal Life is almost empty. Hao had triggered heavenly punishment a few years ago, most likely when he entered the Dao world. Not only did he not suppress the Yuhua Saint, but he also suffered. He was eager for quick success and instant benefit. Only then could he have triggered the heavenly punishment. After all, it was known to the whole world that the Yuhua Saint had safely returned to the Holy Land of Creation. On the other hand, after Yang Hao returned, he had been practicing in seclusion and never saw anyone, which already explained the problem. But no one was surprised. Unless he entered a place of great danger, or a truly powerful person took action, how could a monster saint fall so easily? When Yang Hao consumed the 5 elements Dao sect to enter the world of Dao, many people were not optimistic about it. But many people, they all understand Yang Hao's character very well, and are not surprised by his decision. However, the failure of a giant to hunt down a saint is not a laughing stock, but a legend. Even if he pays the price and is seriously injured, no one will look down on Yang Hao. But now Tianjun Saint has chosen this time to challenge, naturally he has ulterior motives. I'm afraid this guy is not just challenging Emperor Zun for Xiao Qing'er. He has great ambitions and wants to take this opportunity to plunder Yang Hao's luck and become the main star of this era. The second elder frowned, exuding a cold aura, but his smile became brighter. Since the heavenly Lord Saint refuses to leave, then I have no choice but to send you away personally. The destined Holy Lord of the Eternal Holy Land is not someone that cats and dogs can challenge at will. She smiled very domineeringly, and the Holy Land of Eternal Life has always been domineering. Even if you are a saint, you can't challenge anyone in the Holy Land just because you want to challenge. It's not just her. One after another, figures walked out of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, each one exuding a terrifying aura. An overwhelming force surged towards the heavenly Lord Saint. The Holy Land of Eternal Life is truly unique. Sage Tianjun saw that almost at the moment the second elder's words fell, more than 10 saints came out, and his expression changed. When he was the Holy Son of Kinkan Holy Land in the past, although he had dealt with the Holy Land of Eternal Life, after all, the level it was too low to see the true face of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. In addition, in the past few years, Saint Tianjun came out of the eternal restricted area and fought against several holy places one after another. He had never encountered such a scene. At this moment, he saw that the Holy Land of Eternal Life was so domineering. Couldn't help but feel shocked. But he couldn't say much about this matter. His realm was higher than that of Yang Hao. It was natural for the other party not to accept it. Originally, the Saint Tianjun didn't care about this. It would be best to have a fight, even if Yang Hao Lu Yie's refusal could dampen Yang Hao's spirit and destroy part of his luck. However, what Tianjun Chenzi never expected was that he would be suppressed by the domineering pressure of the Holy Land of Eternal Life without even seeing Yang Hao's face. He was forced into a dilemma. If he left, he would lose face. What would Xiao Qing'er think of him? Don't leave. More than a dozen saints from the Holy Land of Eternal Life have shown their murderous intentions, and it's not just as simple as putting on airs. Zhangju, why are you so aggressive? In a world of great strife, who wouldn't fight? Since Emperor Zun chooses to show off his talents, he naturally needs to be prepared to face the enemies of the world. If you refuse to fight today and refuse to fight tomorrow, how can you achieve enlightenment over time? Since ancient times, no one has ever achieved enlightenment through intimidation. Just when the Holy Son of Heaven was in a dilemma, a chuckle suddenly came from Holy Lord of Heaven and Earth. Oh, Holy Lord of Yin and Yang, Holy Lord of Creation, you are also here. Everyone is here, why doesn't Lan Sheng come? When the second elder heard the words, he narrowed his eyes and looked at the source of the sound. There, more than a dozen figures suddenly appeared out of thin air. They clearly came from tearing apart the void in an instant at a great cost. These figures are not just from the Kinkan Holy Land family, but also from the Kinkan Holy Land family. Forces such as the Yin-Yang Holy Land and the Holy Land of Creation also came together, and among them, the major Holy Masters also appeared. Obviously, this storm did not come out of the blue, but had been expected for a long time. The ancestor of the family entered the Vulcan realm again to protect Qing'er. Seeing the figures appearing one after another, Tianjun Chenzi instantly felt confident. He regained his composure and said calmly again. Interesting. Do you want to challenge me today about the background of my eternal Holy Land? At this time, another being exuding a powerful aura walked out of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. The Great Elder, the nominal Holy Lord of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, finally walked out at this moment, and said calmly, with a cold tone. Even though the Holy Lords of all the major Holy Lands came together, so what? This is the home of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, the land of Dragon Pool and Tiger Den. Not to mention these saints, even if the Quasi-Emperor dares to come, they will be hated on the spot. It turned out to be Holy Master Zhang, who had misunderstood. I just heard that this little guy Tianjun wanted to fight Emperor Zun and came to watch Holy Lord Kinkan said slowly when he saw the Great Elder. Indeed. I once heard that the Emperor of the Holy Land of Eternal Life has the heroic appearance of slaughtering saints, and that the Heavenly Lord Saint also has great luck. Such a battle is worth watching, and even we should gain a lot. Holy Master Yin also smiled and said at this moment. Not only the two Holy Masters, but also the other powerful Ji-Dao people who came also spoke one after another. They did not want to see Yang Hao continue to grow. The last time the ambush failed, the losses were heavy. But the major holy places would not give up, and they would not let Yang Hao grow. This time, there was a cause and effect between Tianjun Saint and Yang Hao. It was an opportunity. Although they knew that the Eternal Holy Land would definitely not agree to this fight. But these holy places have known Yang Hao. Yang Hao's biggest flaw is that he has never had any defeats. If he knew that someone challenged him and was causally involved with Xiao Qing'er, and was as arrogant as him, he would definitely agree. This time, even if they can't kill Yang Hao, they can still severely damage his Taoist heart and frustrate his growth. They have seen too many unparalleled geniuses who are unable to recover once they are defeated. Fei. Lu reminds you, 3 things about reading dash. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 187. The one who is above is planning. This time, the major holy places came together, not as murderous as last time, but simply to support the heavenly Lord Saint. The Holy Land of Eternal Life did not want to let Yang Hao go out to fight with Tianjun Saint. Naturally, it was because they were afraid that Yang Hao would be defeated and his invincible momentum would be ruined. Once a practitioner's invincible momentum is shattered, it is very likely that he will stagnate or even be decadent for the rest of his life. Especially with Yang Hao's extremely arrogant character, one can already predict what will happen after the defeat. But for them, they are happy to see the results. I, the Holy Heavenly Lord, heard that the Emperor pursued and killed Yahua Saint, and did not hesitate to sacrifice a heroic deed that destroyed the Taoist section. If the Emperor can defeat me today, I will give you a righteous deed that destroyed the Taoist sect with both hands. Of course, if Emperor Zun is defeated, I won't ask for much. In the past, my fiancée seemed to have an ancient ring that was taken away by the Emperor, and all she had to do was return it. At this moment, after the arrival of the powerful men from all the major holy places, the Tianjun Saint, who had regained his confidence, spoke again, and his voice resounded throughout the eternal Holy Land. He once again pointed his words at Yang Hao's failure to hunt down the Yahua Saint in the past, and he paid a heavy price. This incident was used to stimulate Yang Hao. However, there was still no response after the words fell. Only the saint-level powerhouses in the eternal Holy Land looked at him coldly and released powerful auras to oppress the saints Yang Tianjun. It seems that Emperor Zun was indeed seriously injured by the royal transformation saint back then, and he was unwilling to walk out despite this. It's a pity that the invincible Emperor Zun has been wounded in the Dao world and is unable to fight anymore. Heavenly Lord Saint, it's better not to be aggressive. When the Emperor comes out in the future, he will look for you personally and have a show. The holy masters of these major holy places calmed down the powerful momentum of the eternal Holy Land in an understatement, and a series of indifferent voices also sounded. It seemed that they were speaking for Yang Hao, but in fact they were overt praise and covert criticism. Yang Hao hadn't walked out yet, which surprised them. But it doesn't matter. Even if Yang Hao could not bear to leave, what happened today would soon spread throughout the world. People say that it is scary. From today on, once the Emperor is mentioned, the Heavenly Lord and Saint will always be a mountain that cannot be bypassed, and his prestige will also be much weaker. He. It seems that Emperor Zun is nothing more than this. At this time, Saint Tianjun shook his head regretfully and said with some disappointment. The heaven and earth suddenly shook. It has only been a few years, but it seems that you still have no memory. A lazy and indifferent voice sounded, white clothes were fluttering, and a goddess walked out. Zhang Wu. Why did she show up? Isn't she in retreat? This devil. One after another, the voices looked at the figure of the goddess, and their expressions became ugly. This figure of a goddess is naturally the peerless and graceful Zhang Wu. She walked out of the virtual space at this moment, her eyes as bright as stars, taking in all the expressions of everyone in her eyes. Universe, yin and yang, creation. Come out, everyone. I will fight with you today. Zhang Xiao, Zhang Ju, the more you live, the more you go back. If you dare to come to the Holy Land and act arrogantly, where does all the nonsense come from? Just kill him directly, so why worry? Zhang Wu didn't pay attention to so much, but her few words were very murderous. Not only did she directly want to fight the holy masters of these major holy places, she even reprimanded the first elder, second elder, and others. She killed them directly in front of the door. No matter what identity. How domineering. Zhang Wu, you are a sage, how can you lower yourself to fight with us, Holy Lord Kinkan heard this, but said with a bad expression. When they saw Zhongwu walking out, they felt something bad. Today, Saint Tianjun came to challenge Yang Hao. It was the result of calculations by all parties. They naturally, Yang Hao's protector Zhongwu was in retreat at the moment and would definitely not show up before the heavenly Lord Saint could come out. However, Zhongwu appeared. This domineering woman would never plot anything. If she is weak, those who dared to do this would have been killed countless times. But if they were as powerful as Zhongwu, they would only have a headache. The great elder of the Holy Land of Eternal Life and others would at least have concerns and weigh one or two things. But Zhongwu would not. She really knows how to take action. A few years ago, no one would have thought that she would lead a group of saints to attack major holy places. Not only that, Zhongwu broke out in that battle and shocked everyone. Holy Lord Kinkan is right. Now Zhongwu is no longer in the same world as holy lords like them. She is completely degrading her status by inviting a fight like this. Degrading yourself. You rely on the strong to bully the weak and provoke power. Haven't you ever thought about this issue? Are you a heavenly king or saint? Just got a little bit of opportunity, so you dare to be so arrogant. If you don't die with one strike of my sword, I will forgive your offense today. Zhongwu said lightly, but her murderous intention was directed at Tianjun Saint. Her tone was contemptuous. When the words fell, Tianjun Saint's expression changed drastically. The moment he saw Zhongwu appear, his heart suddenly jumped. Great sage, calm down. There is a misunderstanding. There is no gap between me and Emperor Zun. I just come with sincerity and want to settle the cause and effect. Sage Tianjun has never seen such a gorgeous goddess like Zhongwu. Before he could think about it, Zhongwu was already about to kill him. A numb feeling enveloped him, and he immediately said hurriedly. She even called out Zhongwu's title that few people call Zhongwu. Yes. Zhongwu's title was also overbearing to the extreme. She had never mentioned it to Yang Hao, and few people call Zhongwu her title while walking in the world. Most of them used the title of Holy Lord. Or it's a taboo name. Nothing else. In fact, the title of Dao Dao is also too ostentatious. In fact, for many practitioners, it is even more terrifying than Yang Hao's emperor. Taking the title of Dao Dao is too much. Even calling her by name is considered taboo. With Zhongwu's title, it is enough to show how domineering Zhongwu was back then. Great sage. Auntie, no wonder you didn't say. Just saying the name made me feel my mind swaying, and I felt like dark clouds were closing in on the city. It was an eye-opener for her. At this time, a chuckle suddenly came, which made Zhongwu, who was about to take action, pause. The person who came was naturally Yang Hao, riding Suqing flying under him. Beside him, little Nanan and Lu Yan's the figure followed. He came slowly on Suqing, not paying attention to the attention from all directions. From Yaoguang Immortal Peak to the mountain gate of the Holy Land of Eternal Life is not far, but it is not close either. After hearing the words of Saint Tianjun after the provocation, he didn't pay attention to it, or even bothered to pay attention to it. However, after hearing the second cry of Tianjun Saint, Yang Hao became interested. It was worth taking action to destroy a Taoist gate. That's why he Shanshan when he came here. He never expected to see Zhongwu coming out of seclusion and about to stage a big drama. What interested Yang Hao even more was Zhongwu's honorific title. With De Dao as his nickname, his ambitions were no worse than his. His aunt, too, was a wonderful person. No wonder I once asked Zhongwu for her Taoist number, but Zhongwu smiled mysteriously and did not respond. How? Why are you here? Go and recuperate. Just leave this matter to my aunt to resolve. Zhongwu was also stunned at this moment. She never thought that Yang Hao would appear at this moment and showed a helpless look at Yang Hao's teasing. She then looked at Yang Hao with concern and said. When Yang Hao returned, she was in retreat. But Yang Hao's she paid close attention to all the information. Of course Zhang didn't believe Yang Hao's pursuit in the Great Dao world and the counter-attack of the Yehua Saint. Zhang knew that Yang Hao owned the Wei Tower, so the Yehua Saint returned to the Holy Land of Creation from the Dao world. She was not surprised. She was even worried that the flood would wash away the Dragon King Temple, and secretly took back the strong men who were preparing to kill the Yehua Saint. However, the punishment from heaven came a few days ago, which made Zhang extremely worried. She was worried that Yang Hao was really, if he failed in the world of Dao, how could he be punished by heaven? Because of this, Zhang was restless and had no intention of even practicing in seclusion. If Yang Hao had not said that no one would accept a visit, Zhang would have already go to see Yang Hao in person. When Yang Hao appeared at this moment, her domineering face became extremely soft in an instant. The Saint Tianjun was dumbfounded and felt an inexplicable jealousy in his heart. He also saw Yang Hao the figure. Although he does have a good skin, there is nothing special about him, and the aura on his body is not strong, even restrained, like an injury that has not yet healed. What makes Tianjun Saint unbalanced is that he has just returned. The unparalleled domineering Zhang immediately changed her attitude, which made him feel incredible. Nothing. I heard that someone was willing to give me a door to destruction, so I came to take a look. Yang Hao said to Zhang with a casual tone. Kindness. That's good. Since Hao has said it, Tianjun, please hand over the Dao sect of destruction, and I will spare your life today. His words made everyone stunned. Originally, everyone thought that Yang Hao was suppressing Tianjun Saint because Zhang and Yang Hao deliberately did this. However, they did not expect that the meaning behind the two people's words was clearly similar. It's a chance encounter. There is no reason for this. At this time, after seeing Yang Hao, Saint Tianjun felt inexplicably aggrieved in his chest, and a cold voice came from. If you can defeat me, I will give it to you. Why is it that if I come to challenge you today, my holy land of eternal life will be looted? His words contained anger. In the past few years, he has stepped out of the Teku forbidden zone and shines so brightly. How has he ever been humiliated like this? Today, he came to seize the position of the main star of the avenue, not to stick out his face and be trampled on. Please download the novel without underlining. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 188. Auntie, let me do it. But at this time, Yang Hao chuckled. He already knew the purpose of Saint Tianjun's coming. One thing is correct. He cannot be defeated. He will not be defeated. Today, he is invincible. He can kill gods when he meets gods, and he can kill Buddha when he meets kill the Buddha. So what if it is a provocation from a saint? The final outcome is just to become a stepping stone on his path to enlightenment. What's more, he has just made great progress in cultivation, and he also wants to measure his current status with the strength of the heavenly Lord Saint. Combat power. Good. Zhang frowned slightly when she heard Yang Hao's words, and then relaxed. She knew that Yang Hao was not a reckless person. Since he said so confidently, I'm afraid it was not as he thought before, and there was another reason for attracting heavenly punishment. Since Hao wants to fight Tianjun, then don't bother him. Bring it on. When the world comes, let me see if you have made any progress in these years besides conspiracy and calculation. Zhang said coldly. A red divine sword appeared in her hand, and a white jade plate flew out. Without any response, the masters of the Holy Land were enveloped in the battle group by Zhang. Emperor, please enlighten me. Don't forget, if you lose, remember to give that ancient ring to me. Seeing this scene, Saint Tianjun's face darkened. He knew that Zhongwu's attack on the masters of the holy places was both a warning and a deterrent. In his heart, Saint Tianjun cursed Zhongwu's shortcomings, but on the other hand, his eyes gradually showed excitement. He actually didn't care about Yang Hao's combat prowess. A giant who could kill a quasi-sage was enough to be called the first genius at that time. But compared with him, he was still far behind. Later, this confidence the invincible genius will be completely shocked. Too much nonsense. Yang Hao was too lazy to say more. In an instant, his magical powers were like a sea, pouring down. A practitioner with unparalleled standards took action. The 9 supreme magical powers continued to grow as his strength became stronger. At this moment, compared to him in the magical power realm, I don't know how much more powerful it is. Yang Hao purged the 9 supreme magical powers and came directly to kill him. Although Tianjun Saint was a little surprised by Yang Hao's decisiveness, he was also a man who had experienced hundreds of battles. In an instant, then he also summoned his magical power and intertwined with Yang Hao. It's really scary. Sage Tianjun's face changed slightly. He felt that at that moment, his magical power was crushed and destroyed by Yang Hao's magical power like ice and snow, and it was coming towards him to kill him. Fire! However, Saint Tianjun did not panic and spoke calmly. He followed his words. Tens of thousands of feet of divine fire flew out and instantly enveloped Yang Hao's magical power. At the same time, a small world washed with purple energy arrived. The huge and endless small world cleansing away the purple energy, it appears extremely deep and vast. The purple chi world of Tianjun Sage is formed by the opportunity obtained from the eternal forbidden zone, and its power is far beyond that of the ordinary small world. Not to mention the giants, even the emperor would be completely dissolved in an instant if he was enveloped by his purple energy world. Unfortunately, Emperor Zun is not an ordinary giant. His supreme killing array appears. It is rumored that Emperor Zun's supreme killing formation is extremely terrifying. It is the first killing formation in 100,000 or even hundreds of thousands of years. It can overwhelm the small world before it has even reached the level of a small world. The other saint-level powerhouses on the Holy Land side were directly swept away by Zhongwu. They were too busy fighting to watch the battle. But the eternal Holy Land side is different. Zhongwu did not allow them to participate in the battle, so some extremely powerful people naturally watched the battle between Yang Hao and Tianjun Sage carefully. At this moment, the two of them have created their own small worlds and killing arrays. A one-sided situation did not occur. Yang Hao's ancient killing formation was very terrifying. When it was revealed, it showed endless vitality. He directly used the Sky Sword Chi to directly shatter the flame method summoned by the Tianjun Saint, and then collided with the purple Chi world of the Tianjun Saint. Together, the entire void will be completely shattered. Very strong, worthy of being the main star of the avenue. No sign of injury at all. At least it has quasi-holy level combat power. It's a pity that the battle ends here. Sage Tianjun was also shocked for a moment when he fought against Yang Hao. He found that the opponent was very powerful, and he was not inferior at all in the fight. However, Saint Tianjun was also an arrogant person, and he could not overpower a mere giant with the body of a saint. He cannot accept such a result. Come fire! Come on water! Come on! Sage Tianjun shouted coldly. Then, 3 terrifying avenues between heaven and earth appeared and attacked Yang Hao. 3 avenues. This Saint Tianjun dared to come to suppress Yang Hao, and he also received support from many holy places. Of course, it is not without reason. Although he only controls 3 ordinary avenues, his strength is no weaker than that of the original Yahua Saint. Under everyone's attention, the 3 avenues of Tianjun Saint were almost crushed in an instant. On top of Yang Hao's ancient killing formation. The ancient killing formation was instantly trembled and shaken by the force of 3 terrifying avenues. Once the prehistoric killing formation collapsed, it would fall on Yang Hao. With his level, he may be able to withstand the attack of the three avenues, but he will be defeated in an instant. Ah! Yang Hao chuckled softly at this moment. The power of the 8 laws was washed out from his whole body and injected into the ancient killing array in an instant. In an instant, the ancient killing array erupted with endless mysterious aura, like a crazy whirlpool, and began to learn from the three avenues of the Heavenly Lord and the Saint. I originally thought I could try the power of the 5 elements avenue, but it's a pity. You do not deserve. Yang Hao felt the heaven and earth swaying, and felt a little disappointed in his heart. Tianjun Sage is considered very powerful among the saints. But it is a pity. The innate nature was restrained by him. The 3 avenues controlled by Tianjun Sage, fire, water, and metal, all belong to the 5 elements law unfortunately. The avenue he controls happens to be the 5 elements avenue. This is pressure from above. He just cultivated the 5 elements law to the ultimate level, maybe evenly divided. Unfortunately, he now controls the complete 5 elements avenue. The breath of terror disappeared in a flash. Almost in an instant, the 3 avenues of the Heavenly Lord and Saint collapsed. What happened? Sage Tianjun's eyes widened, and the previous arrogance disappeared in an instant. He could not imagine how his 3 avenues could suddenly disappear. However, before he had time to think about it, he frantically threw out ancient magic weapons one after another to resist the prehistoric killing. The formation surged to kill. At the moment when the 3 avenues collapsed, his invincible world of purple energy was also shattered in an instant. After Yang Hao poured the power of 8 laws into the prehistoric killing formation, the 8 laws contained in it were formed. Resonance, the power instantly increased dozens of times. Almost in just an instant. A saint's powerful little world was annihilated by the prehistoric killing array on the spot. Throw in the towel. At this time, the embarrassed Holy Lord Qinqin, who was being killed by Zhang Wu, sensed the battlefield on Tianjun Saint's side, and immediately spoke for Tianjun Saint. His eyesight was very vicious. The power of the avenue was inexplicably annihilated, and he wanted to regain it. It will take time to summon him. If the Heavenly Lord Saint persists, he may be severely injured. I surrender. Sage Tianjun looked aggrieved. When he saw the prehistoric killing array shattering his divine weapons one by one and about to fall in front of him, he immediately said decisively. Just now, he had already sensed the horror of life and death. That feeling, Saint Tianjun once often sensed it in the Eternal Forbidden Zone. He finally walked out of the Eternal Forbidden Zone and didn't want to fall outside. This whole battle made him confused and couldn't figure it out. He didn't even know why, so he already about to be defeated. What happened just now? Not only him, but also many powerful G-Dao people watching the battle did not understand at this moment. It was not that Yang Hao was too secretive. But no one dared to think about it. Who they would think that a giant could control the avenue. In their opinion, Yang Hao must have used some treasure to neutralize the offensive of the Tianjun Saint. Destroy the gate. Hearing the words of Saint Tianjun, Yang Hao's killing array stopped unusually, and said to Saint Tianjun with a smile. Take it. Sage Tianjun's eyes were gloomy, but with a move of his hand, a mini door exuding a terrifying aura appeared. His heart was bleeding. This door of destruction was brought out by him from the eternal restricted area. Originally, he only used it as an attraction. Yang Hao's gimmick, but he didn't expect that he would actually lose. But he had no choice. The Holy Land of Eternal Life is a huge monster. Now in front of the mountain gate of Holy Land of Eternal Life, even the strong men from various holy lands who came to help him are being suppressed at this moment. Zhang Wu suppressed her easily, but he didn't dare to break the contract. Lost and Found Again is a beautiful story. I heard that you have been challenging many times over the years and are very powerful. But in my opinion, it's not very good. Yang Hao said lightly, but suddenly he seemed to have thought of something and said to Tianjun Saint, "That's right. Are you engaged to Xiao Qing? Go and break off the engagement yourself. However, Xiao Qing's talent is a bit useless. But you're not good enough for her yet." When Saint Tianjun heard this, his face was gloomy and he said nothing. He turned around and disappeared at the mountain gate of the Holy Land. Even the holy masters did not wait. Yang Hao was humiliating him. He could not accept such humiliation. Break off the engagement. It is impossible to break off the engagement. Brat! Why didn't you kill him? It doesn't fit your style. At this time, the fighting on Zhongwu's side also ended with Yang Hao's side. In a short period of time, every holy master of the major holy places was injured, and many were seriously injured by Zhongwu, and some were even lingering on the edge of death. However, Zhongwu obviously didn't care about these people, and instead sent a message to Yang Hao. Today, Yang Hao's behavior was a little different from usual. "I took away the villain's son." Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 189. This battle ended too quickly. What's going on? Did you see it just now? Why did the power of the three great avenues of the Heavenly Lord Saint collapse? I just seemed to sense the power of the great avenue flashing past Emperor Zun's killing array. How is it possible with the power of the avenue? No matter how evil the emperor is, if he were an emperor, he could control the avenue, but now he is just a giant. At this time, discussions were going on one after another, all reviewing the brief battle between Yang Hao and Tianjun Saint. They knew that the result of today's battle would soon spread throughout the Ziwei Star. The Holy Son of Heavenly Lord, who has gained great fame after returning from the Eternal Forbidden Zone in recent years, came to the Holy Land of Eternal Life to challenge Emperor Zun. He never thought that after a few rounds, he would be suppressed by Emperor Zun and was forced to hand over the Destruction Sect. Big loss. More than just a big loss. For the Heavenly Lord Saint, it is not just a loss of a door to destruction. He would lose a lot of luck, and not only did he fail to defeat Emperor Zun, he was also humiliated by Yang Hao. Let him break off the engagement. The Heavenly Lord Saint is now in a dilemma. He came with the general trend to eliminate the cause and effect between Yang Hao and Xiao Qing. As a result, not only was the cause and effect not eliminated, but he himself was also involved. It's like being high up in the sky, but falling from the clouds in an instant. The Tianjun Saint left directly, which already explained the problem. He himself cannot accept such humiliation. Emperor Zun's talent is really unprecedented. In addition to time and space, in just over 10 years, he has also realized 6 special laws. It seems that Emperor Zun is not far away from the eternal giant. Qincan Holy Land, my skills are inferior to those of others, so I say goodbye. Seeing the departure of Saint Tianjun, he had stopped fighting. The severely injured Saint Lord Qincan also coldly said a word and then chose to disappear. The extremely strong men from other major holy places also had ugly expressions at this moment, and they all left a few words. Leave immediately. During this trip, all their plans have come to nothing. These extremely strong men kept cursing Tianjun Saint as a waste in their hearts. They placed all their hopes on him, but they did not expect that it would only take a short moment. Was completely suppressed by Yang Hao. Even though they did not understand how Yang Hao defeated the Tianjun Saint, this did not prevent them from despising the Tianjun Saint. After these extremely powerful men from various holy places left afterwards, all the saints in the Holy Land of Eternal Life also looked at Yang Hao and nodded slightly. In the 8th level of the Giant Realm, all special laws are controlled. It should be the miraculous power stirred up by Emperor Zun's incomparable miraculous killing array, which made Tianjun Saint sink into the sand. After this battle, who dares to question Emperor Zun? Even the Saint of Yahua needs to hide in the Holy Land of Creation for a long time and cannot leave. Yes, Emperor Zun has grown too fast. I have a hunch that he will become an emperor within 100 years. Haha, I wouldn't be surprised if he became a saint. That's a bit difficult. All the emperor understands are special laws. It's extremely difficult to evolve into a great road. Yang Hao ignored the flattery and praise from all the saints. When he heard Zhongwu's voice, he responded to Zhongwu with a mysterious smile. I heard that this person came out of the eternal forbidden zone and stayed there for 8,000 years. He should knows many secrets of the eternal forbidden zone. I am a little curious about the eternal forbidden zone and want to know something, but I don't want to kill him. Hearing Yang Hao's words, Zhongwu's eyes flashed and she said, "Oh. Do you want to transform him now?" "Right." Yang Hao responded without thinking. He had this idea since he met the Tianjun saint. Now that he has reached the 8th level of the giant realm, this last law naturally requires the law of destiny. It is too wasteful to use the door of destiny. And he was just guessing before. So he set his target on the Sea of Blood that Wenwan said was the eternal forbidden area. In fact, he was preparing to venture into it recently. He had already begun to send Lu Yan to help him read the eternal information about the Holy Land of Eternal Life. The records and secret books of the forbidden area. The arrival of Saint Tianjun was a timely blessing for him, allowing him to know more secrets of the eternal forbidden area. It seemed that Hao already knew about that incident and became interested in the eternal forbidden zone. If this Saint Tianjun could walk out of the eternal forbidden zone, he should indeed know a lot of secrets, but it would be a pity to kill him. Zhang Wu sent a message, but Yang Hao blinked and responded, "What's the matter? Don't you know? Although the eternal forbidden zone is one of the top 10 dangerous places, it contains endless dangers. But historically, there have been periods of safety from time to time. Once the safety period arrives, dangerous places such as the eternal forbidden zone will become relatively safe. There are also great opportunities hidden in places of great evil, and many powerful people will enter it to explore opportunities and find divine objects. The return of Saint Tianjun from the eternal restricted area is a signal. Not only the Saint Tianjun has returned, but practitioners who have been imprisoned in the forbidden area of eternity have returned from all major holy places, but the Saint Tianjun is the most dazzling existence among those who have returned." Hearing Zhongwu's words, Yang Hao looked astonished. There is such a thing. He has been trying to evolve the rules in the past few days and has no intention of paying attention to other things. If he wants to study the eternal restricted area, it is also closer. As his strength gradually stabilized, he made a plan. Unexpectedly, there was such a thing involved. That being the case, without further ado, I would like my aunt to join me in suppressing and interrogating the Holy Son of Heaven. Then I can let him lead the way for me. Yang Hao sent a message to Zhongwu. Although he can also suppress the sage Tianjun, he is not really arrogant and ignorant. Just in case, if the sage Tianjun is accompanied by others, he may not be able to solve it, so it is better to take him with him. Shang Zhongwu is the safest. Did you just deliberately humiliate the heavenly Lord Saint? Zhongwu smiled and said, naturally she would not refuse Yang Hao's request. Naturally so. Yang Hao responded, of course he deliberately humiliated the heavenly Lord Saint and made him leave alone in shame, so that he could suppress him more easily. Does Hao still have feelings for Xiao Qing? If she doesn't want to, her aunt will go to Lanshan. Zhongwu asked again. She was a little worried about Yang Hao. Apart from accepting Lu Yan as a follower in these years, Yang Hao didn't really have any emotions. You know, in front of Yang Hao's Taoist realm, she clearly remembered what he had done back then. Yang Hao is still quite interested in women, even absurdly. But as Yang Hao gradually rises, now he has no emotional experience. Before, Yang Hao humiliated the Tianjun saint, which naturally made Zhongwu misunderstood, thinking that Yang Hao was interested in women. Xiao Qing still has emotions. No. Not interested. Yang Hao told the truth. He has always stayed away from the existence of the protagonist Xiao Qing. Besides, there has long been a deep hatred between the two. Unless Xiao Qing is a masochist, he will definitely hate himself to the core. For a powerful enemy like Xiao Qing, Yang Hao could only be cold-blooded. How could he have any feelings? In Yang Hao's heart, Xiao Qing's ultimate fate would only be to be transformed or beheaded on the spot. Therefore, facing Zhang Wu's news, Yang Hao he responded without any hesitation at all. If you have no interest, then you have no interest. But you are old enough. If you want to find a Taoist companion, my aunt will also support it. How about I let that girl Zhang Ju come with you? She has been very happy with you since she was a child. Zhang Wu nodded when he heard the words and transmitted the message to Yang Hao again. Yang Hao was speechless. He didn't expect that Zhang Wu would suddenly care about his Taoist companion. Zhang Ju. Yang Hao looked to the side and smiled like a fox. The cunning second elder shook his head and said no need. So do you have a choice? Zhang Wu asked again. If so, you must tell your aunt and she will help you consider it. She also suddenly remembered such a thing and was particularly concerned about Yang Hao. Candidate. When Yang Hao heard this, he took a deep look at Zhang Wu's slender figure under the white dress, and suddenly felt a little excited in his heart. There is. He responded subconsciously. Who? Speak up and consult with your aunt. Zhang Wu became interested and immediately responded through a message. My aunt will tell me when I will become a saint. Yang Hao was a little hesitant, and after thinking for a while, he said seriously to Zhang Wu. He is a person with a strong and decisive personality. Just now, he had realized that there was actually a figure resident in his heart. Only however, in this world where strength is paramount, Yang Hao's character cannot tolerate his Taoist companion being stronger than himself. He carefully considered it, and when he becomes a saint, he should be able to surpass him in strength. It won't take long, then, it doesn't matter anyway. You little guy, you are trying to trick your aunt. Zhang Wu also laughed when she heard this. Although she was curious, she did not pursue the question. Instead, she reminded Yang Hao without further delay, Saint June should have walked some distance that day. Let's go. Good. When Yang Hao heard this, he immediately turned his mind back to the matter of Tianjun Saint. He and Zhang Wu disappeared directly from the mountain gate of the Holy Land of Eternal Life in the next moment. Elder Zhang and Emperor Zun, where are they going? Only everyone was left with puzzled faces. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 190. It is hundreds of millions of miles away from the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Saint Tianjun is flying at a terrifying speed. The terrifying fluctuations caused by the flight have caused the death of many innocent creatures and even practitioners. But Saint Tianjun doesn't care at all at this moment. His mind went blank. Break off an engagement. He actually asked me to break off the engagement. What is he? Why would I lose to him? Yang Hao, you are the waste. I am a true genius. Sage Tianjun was furious in his heart, but he had nowhere to vent. He did lose. This was what made him really frustrated. With his saintly power of controlling 3 avenues, how could he lose to a giant? This matter in his imagination, he should have overpowered Yang Hao, not only snatched Xiao Qing's ring from Yang Hao and won the beauty's heart, but also completely plundered Yang Hao's luck and became the main star of this era. Unfortunately, all the plans have now become illusions. He is a prodigal dog who was ridiculed and humiliated by Yang Hao in front of many powerful people. Hateful. Lady, I am going to kill you. Sage Tianjun doesn't care where he flies at this moment, he just wants to vent. He tears apart the space at will. One after another terrifying avenues are coming. More creatures fall, and even powerful practitioners cannot survive. His strength is considered a real strongman in Zaiwei Star. Help! Help! Oh God! This is the devil from there. Why do you want to slaughter us innocently? Do not kill me. The sounds of crying and howling reached the ears of Saint Tianjun. Not only did they not let Saint Tianjun hold back, but they gave Saint Tianjun an unparalleled pleasure. He became even more excited. And if he hadn't been useful, I would have killed him right now. At this time, suddenly a faint voice came from the ear of Tianjun Saint, but the voice contained terrifying murderous intent. After that time is used up, you can banish him to the abyss of the eternal forbidden zone. There are extremely terrifying existences there, and he will die miserably. Another calm voice came. The face of the heavenly Lord Saint changed. What sound? Why do their voices sound so much like those of Yang Hao and Zhang Wu? Could it be that I'm hallucinating? Sage Tianjun's eyes changed drastically, but he understood that it is absolutely impossible to have hallucinations. He is a saint. Unless he walks into an extremely dangerous place and encounters the illusion array, how can he encounter hallucinations? That is true. Tianjun the saint was shocked. He felt that his wanton power was frozen by ice in an instant. In front of his eyes, two figures appeared. Both figures were extremely familiar to him. A boy in white, a goddess in white, all with extraordinary temperament and exuding a powerful aura. Zhang Wu. Yang Hao. What do you want to do? The gate of destruction is also given to you. I am the supreme elder of Qincan Holy Land. Sage Tianjun's face turned extremely pale in an instant, and his previous anger was extinguished by cold water in an instant, and he became calm. He was ambushed. Yang Hao and Zhang Wu actually ambushed him after he left. Oh, when Yang Hao heard this, he didn't care. Qincan Holy Land? It's fine if he is a weakling with no background. Even he, the destined Holy Lord of the Eternal Holy Land, launched shocking ambush attacks in other holy lands without blinking an eye. What could a mere supreme elder of the Holy Land of heaven and earth have to say? Both of them hated Saint Tianjun so much that they didn't bother to talk too much to Saint Tianjun and directly suppressed him. No. Do not kill me. I will break off the engagement with Xiao Qing'er right now. I won't compete with you. Sage Tianjun was suppressed by Zhang Wu and Yang Hao, and had no power to fight back. In Sage Tianjun's view, they seemed to be deliberately torturing him and did not kill him. Instead, they humiliated him, erasing his immortal golden body bit by bit. How are you, taking control of the Five Elements Avenue? The two of them naturally ignored the words of Saint Tianjun, but Zhang Wu sensitively discovered Yang Hao's horror at this moment. After all, Yang Hao did not kill Saint Tianjun at that time, and it was just a matter of stimulating the power of the Five Elements Avenue. It passed in a flash. Although many saints could easily sense that it was the power of the great Dao. But even Zhang Wu did not dare to conclude that Yang Hao could control the great Dao. She just thought that he had obtained a rare treasure. But now the two of them joined forces to fight against each other. Overwhelming the Saint Tianjun, Yang Hao attacked with all his strength and did not hold back at all. Naturally, Zhang Wu sensed it instantly. Yes. Yang Hao naturally wouldn't hide it from Zhang Wu and said casually. He once again mobilized the power of the Five Elements Avenue to obliterate the immortal golden body of the heavenly Lord Saint. You are a bit too evil. How is it possible to control the avenue in the realm of giants? Zhang Wu was completely shocked. She had never heard of anyone being able to control the avenue in the realm of giants. In history, even if all kinds of invincible emperors appeared, she had never heard of it. Impossible. How can you control the avenue? Yang Hao, he controls the Five Elements Avenue. At this time, Saint Tianjun also heard the voices of the two people. He screamed while parrying. In addition to being shocked, Saint Tianjun wanted to spread Yang Hao's secret to everyone. Be afraid and beware of him. Unfortunately, Yang Hao and Zhang Wu have already set up divine formations in this world. The heavenly Lord Saint cannot even say that he is escaping, and even his voice cannot be spread. About there. Yang Hao looked at the clown-like appearance of Tianjun Saint in amusement and said casually. He didn't care about his own strength being exposed. Whenever someone thought they could control their own combat power, the other party would be surprised to find that they updated their information. The speed cannot even keep up with the speed of his progress. As long as he continues to make rapid progress, what if he can master his own trump card? Master 1, and he will have 10 and 100. Kindness. At this moment, Zhang Wu also casually cleared out a terrifying avenue again. The red shadow divine sword penetrated the body of Tianjun Saint, instantly weakening most of his breath. What are you going to do? Sage Tianjun finally had an ominous premonition at this moment. He realized that Yang Hao and Zhang Wu did not seem to intend to kill him, but seemed to use him to achieve some purpose. On the contrary, Saint Tianjun became more frightened. The saint's intuition told for him, this is very likely to be a painful thing that would be worse than death. Unfortunately, it is impossible for the Saint Tianjun to have any resistance. After Zhang Wu severely injured him again, Yang Hao easily sacrificed himself without any effort. Yapagoda took the heavenly Lord Saint into it. No matter how much the heavenly Lord Saint roared, it had no effect. The divine light of transition had begun to wash away at him crazily. His ambition is much weaker than that of Wenwan. He should be transformed soon. Yang Hao took a look inside the Wei Tower. He had already transformed many people, and gradually gained a better understanding of the power of the divine light of the Wei Tower. Just by glancing at it, Yang Hao could tell Saint Tianjun's character cultivation is too poor. With just a few rays of divine light, his ferocious roars have already begun to become much weaker. How do you control the avenue in the realm of giants? It was expected that Saint Tianjun would be suppressed. Zhang Wu also knew that transformation would take time, so she asked Yang Hao. Even Zhang Wu was very shocked and became curious. The 5 elements Taoist gate and the supreme immortal bone. Yang Hao smiled. Just like Zhang Wu would never hide anything from him, he himself knew everything about Zhang Wu. At that moment, he slowly told Yang Hao about his experience after entering the world of 5 elements avenue that day. The supreme immortal bone actually has such effects. I will find a land and a Tao gate with rich laws for you. You can try it and see if you can control more Tao gates. If the supreme immortal bone is indeed useful, then you can try to enter the Tao gate of destiny. After Zhang Wu heard this, Yang Hao said seriously. Good. Yang Hao was not polite to Zhang Wu either. The two of them were talking as they returned to the holy land of eternal life. Correct. The Evernight umbrella is most likely one of the components that covers the sky. I once explored a ruins. Where are the records about Emperor Yanjai? This oldest emperor once shattered his only Ji-Dao emperor weapon Jishin in a shocking battle, and thus killed an alien emperor. That ruins enclosure, if it can be opened in the future, my aunt will take you to explore it. Maybe you can get some clues with this eternal night umbrella. What surprised Yang Hao was that Zhang Wu actually explored the remains of Emperor Yanjai and mentioned clues about Yanjai umbrella. I hope to have this fate. I heard that Jishin's Ji-Dao imperial weapon was extremely powerful. If it could be repaired, Emperor Yanjai would be very pleased. Yang Hao said casually, and Zhang Wu also smiled and nodded. Indeed, if Jishin can reappear, he will overwhelm all the extreme emperor soldiers in the world. Then Lin Feng can be considered very lucky. He. The two chatted and returned to the holy land of eternal life. 2 months later, Yang Hao looked at Wei Tower. At this moment, the extremely arrogant Tianjun Saint had completely disappeared. What appeared in front of Yang Hao was an extremely honest person who was completely saved. The transformed heavenly king and saint. Tell all your secrets. Especially about the Forbidden City, make everything clear. Yang Hao was already familiar with the road. He said seriously to the sage Tianjun in front of him. The sage Tianjun immediately nodded crazily like a chicken pecking at rice, and then began to slowly tell his secret. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 191. That's it? Sage Tianjun talked about everything in great detail for a whole day and night, explaining all his secrets clearly. He has learned all the secrets of Saint Tianjun. Although this guy was very talented when he was young, because of this, he was unable to raise. He has become a frivolous and proud character. If he is unhappy, he will easily fly around aimlessly and carry out random killings like today. Yang Hao considers himself not a good person, but he cannot understand this extremely bad person. Personality. He hates Saint Tianjun very much. Even though Saint Tianjun has the combat power to control the three avenues, even after his transformation, he still has murderous intentions towards Saint Tianjun. Of course, as long as Yang Hao says a word, then you can let the Heavenly Lord and Saint die on your own. Your Dao Tiangang star came about by luck. Yang Hao said indifferently. Tianjun sage was obedient in front of him and did not dare to reply. According to Tianjun sage's story, after this guy encountered a setback, he was unhappy and wandered around as before, thinking of finally flying into the Eternal Forbidden Zone. The Eternal Forbidden Zone is one of the 10 most dangerous places. Even if a saint enters, he dare not say that he has the ability to protect himself, let alone the Tianjun saint. The reason why Yang Hao said he was lucky, it was because this person accidentally entered a secret realm of time after entering the Eternal Forbidden Zone. In that secret realm of time, there were many divine objects, but he could not get out. The Saint of Heavenly Lord was here all the time. After staying in the secret realm of time for more than 80,000 years, he finally became a saint and could finally break the shackles of the secret realm of time and walk out. Coincidentally, at this time, the Eternal Forbidden Zone had just entered a safe period, and Saint Tianjun also walked out without any danger, and even relying on the divine objects obtained in the secret realm of time to trigger visions of heaven and earth, he became the Dao Tiangang star in one fell swoop. After all, he was a genius who had become the chief of the Qinqin Holy Land. He practiced for more than 80,000 years and became a saint. The talent of the Tianjun saint was not low. But not to mention compared with him, even compared with Lu Yan, Fang Qingying, Xiao Qing'er and others, they are far behind. But it is obvious that Tianjun saint has great luck, coupled with those powerful divine objects in the secret realm of time. It nourishes the foundation. It is not surprising that he can induce the visions of heaven and earth, and the purple energy can spread for 30,000 miles. According to the explanation of Tianjun saint, the destruction of the Taoist gate is obtained from the divine objects in the secret realm of time. Unfortunately, this guy has been out of these years. Almost all the divine objects were consumed, and only a few remained, but they were also disdainful to Yang Hao. But it's not all without gain. According to Saint Tianjun, the secret realm of time still existed at that time, and there were still divine objects stored in it, but there was terror in the depths, and he did not dare to go deeper into it. In addition, this guy said that he also had a piece of phoenix blood red gold in his divine treasure. This was a 7-color sacred object. He did not carry it with him, but donated it to the Holy Land of Qinqin. Yang Hao withdrew his thoughts. Saint Tianjun had agreed to this matter, so he immediately rushed back to Qinqin Holy Land to get back the phoenix blood red gold at a huge cost. No need to be anxious. In the future, you will come with me to the Eternal Forbidden Zone. Before entering, given your status in the Qinqin Holy Land, bring me all the divine objects you can take out. Yang Hao explained in an understatement, and Sage Tianjun naturally agreed immediately. He had murderous intentions towards Sage Tianjun, and planned to take him into the Eternal Restricted Area to be used as a pathfinder. It would be good to make the best use of everything before his death. Pity. Didn't get what I wanted. I got a lot of secrets from Saint Tianjun, but Yang Hao sighed a little. 9 times out of 10, life is unsatisfactory. In his opinion, Saint Tianjun should be wandering in the eternal forbidden area, and he must know many secrets in the eternal forbidden area. He didn't expect that Tianjun Saint Sage Jun just relied on his great luck and fell into the secret realm of time where there was no danger, and spent 80,000 years there. He wanted to find out what Wenwan told him about the Sea of Blood in the eternal restricted area, but Sage Tianjun had no idea at all. No. There is some unexpected news. Xiao Qing'er is worthy of being the protagonist. Although he did not get the eternal restricted area, the east is not bright and the west is bright. In the explanation of Tianjun Saint, Yang Hao learned about the information that Xiao Qing'er got this time in the Beifang Fire God realm. As far as he knows, a long time ago Xiao Qing'er has already entered the 8th level, looking for a saint's inheritance. But it is rumored that it contains the inheritance of the heavenly Fire Emperor. According to Yang Hao's estimation, Xiao Qing'er should have obtained it. Unexpectedly, in the Tianjun Saint Du, Yang Hao knew things are not simple in the Beifang Fire God realm. There is not only the inheritance of the Sky Fire Emperor. There are also the inheritances of the other 2 alien emperors. The Sky Fire Emperor died together with the 2 alien emperors. After his death, he transformed into the Beifang Fire God realm and will forever connect the two. The alien emperor imprisoned it. What Xiao Qing'er discovered was the complete inheritance of the 3 emperors who died together. Among them, one inheritance was obtained by Xiao Qing'er's master Lan Sheng. The other 2 were completely inherited by Xiao Qing'er. The reason why he has not left the Beifang Fire God realm is because he is inheriting the inheritance of the great emperor. These messages were learned by Saint Tianjun from Saint Lan, and their authenticity is beyond doubt. Even though he had expected it, Yang Hao still couldn't help but sigh. Go back to the holy land of Qincan. Always on call, you will come out when I need you. Looking at the obedient Tianjun Saint, Yang Hao changed his mind and sent him away. No one would have thought that the Tianjun Saint who had only disappeared for 2 months had already become a target that Yang Hao could play with at will. Peace. Waiting for news from my aunt. Yang Hao also told Zhangwu the news, and she would help investigate. What Yang Hao didn't expect was that just after Tianjun Sage left Moon, the eternal forbidden zone attracted everyone's attention. One after another, extremely powerful figures flew towards the eternal forbidden zone. Compared to the time when the elixir of immortality was released, the momentum is even greater. It wasn't that the elixir of immortality was born, but that the aura of the Supreme Emperor's soldiers flashed past the eternal forbidden zone that day. More than that, within the eternal forbidden zone, a large number of alien dead souls and ancient ferocious beasts began to dissipate like an ebbing tide. Well, some people even found the shadow of the ancient enlightenment tree. Some people also saw a large number of Taoist gates being born from the eternal forbidden zone. Master, although no one discovered the Sea of Blood that you asked to pay attention to, someone discovered that the legendary Son of Blood God appeared in this world. Yang Hao got up, and Lu Yan, who was today his younger sister, carefully explained the information collected to Yang Hao, intermittently. However, even if the safe period comes, the top 10 dangerous places are still extremely dangerous. Well, more than 10 strong men have fallen in the past few days. In my holy land of eternal life, there, a saint who survived the dark ages fell there. Lu Yan continued to report to Yang Hao. Obviously, the safety period of the eternal forbidden zone is not truly complete safety. Kindness. I see. Yang Hao understood. The blood god sun is in existence like a divine crystal. But it contains a special blood law, which is also extremely precious. What really makes Yang Hao pay attention is that the eternal forbidden zone seems to be safe. A large number of opportunities appeared in the world, and many powerful people from the extreme realm rushed into them to seek opportunities. Naturally, he was ready to take action. Even if a saint-level powerhouse fell among them, he could not resist Yang Hao's thoughts. He is now stuck at the 8th level of the giant realm. After a long time, even the points have accumulated to a terrifying level. If he wanted to, he could comprehend a law at any time and start condensing the matter of immortality directly. But Yang Hao was worried about the law of fate in his heart, so naturally he was unwilling to accommodate it. 3 hours later, Lu Yan left, and Yang Hao headed towards the Dengxian Tower. And I am going to the eternal forbidden zone, trying to enter the sea of blood that contains the law of destiny, Yang Hao said to Zhang Wu. I'm looking for you. That sea of blood, don't go there for now. Auntie will help you find other secret places. Seeing Yang Hao coming, Zhang Wu frowned slightly and said. What happened? Yang Hao asked immediately. Zhang Wu wouldn't be aimless. I'm afraid she found the news about the Sea of Blood. Underworld Sea. Legend has it that it was formed by the blood of alien emperors. The 10 most dangerous places, each place has the Sea of Hell. Extremely dangerous. Known from the known information found in the books of the Eternal Holy Land, the strong man who went into the Sea of Underworld to explore. Within 1,000,000 years, there would be 3 quasi-emperors, 18 sages, 132 saints, and 469 quasi-sages. When Yang Hao heard this, his eyes narrowed. How, he asked. No one walks out. The Sea of Hell, one of the most dangerous forbidden areas in the Eternal Forbidden Zone. Yang Haoan took a breath of cold air. He had never thought that the forbidden area Wenwan mentioned was so dangerous that even the quasi-emperors and sages had not left it. That place is not the secret realm of time where the heavenly Lord and saints stayed. It is full of endless terror. Didn't get out? Then you will never get out again. No wonder Zhang Wu stopped him from entering. No matter how amazing and talented he is, so what? It was a place of death with no survivors. Please download the novel without underlining. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 192. Yang Hao frowned. You cannot go to the underworld. Although he is confident, he is not arrogant. Even the most powerful people like quasi-emperors and saints have never walked out of the Sea of Netherworld, so naturally he has no chance to walk out. How long does it take to find the place that contains the law of destiny? Yang Hao looked at Zhang Wu and asked. Have no idea. Destiny is extremely mysterious and illusory. The place where the law of destiny exists is often like a mirage and will not stay for long. It's very difficult to find. The most reliable way is to wait another 100 years. Wandeo Pavilion is reopened, and with the authority of your main star, you should be able to enter it again. Zhang Wu also frowned and said to Yang Hao slowly. After she found the information about Ming Hai, she had already looked for other solutions for Yang Hao. Unfortunately, fate is elusive, unless it is a miracle like Wandeo Pavilion that came into being. In a place as big and terrifying as the Sea of Hell, the law of destiny exists all year round. Otherwise, even if the law of destiny appears in other areas, it will only be like an epiphyllum and will soon die out. There's some trouble. Yang Hao frowned. Not to mention how much time it takes to find the place where the law of destiny exists, even if it is Wandeo Pavilion, Zhang Wu, and he can't be sure. After all, Wandeo Pavilion has only been opened once, and no one knows whether it can be opened twice. Enter. Even if he waits for 100 years, it will be useless if Wandeo Pavilion cannot enter again. If it really doesn't work, we can only open the door to destiny. Although there may not be a chance to reach the ultimate level of the law of destiny in the future, at least it will not affect the improvement of the realm. Yang Hao was thinking about whether to use the Tao of Destiny. He was able to successfully reach the ultimate goal in the world of the 5 elements with his astonishing comprehension and systematic dual understanding of the 5 elements. That's because the 5 elements is relatively easy to comprehend. Among the supreme laws, he has the law of time. He already has extremely high talents and attainments, let's not mention them for now. The space law is also the supreme law, but Yang Hao spent a lot of time and resources to finally condense the space law into a space crystal in his body. The law of destiny is better than the space law. The law is even more difficult to comprehend, even if the supreme immortal bone can help him ignore the shackles when the law is ultimate. However, the law of destiny is extremely rare. If he does not reach the ultimate law in the world of destiny, there will be no hope of the law of destiny in the future. Yang Hao is he has pursued. Unlike many saints who are satisfied with controlling even one or two avenues. As long as it is a law he masters, he will evolve it into an avenue. This is his pride. Otherwise, could you please ask other people for advice? In the holy land of eternal life, there is an existence with extremely profound knowledge. Maybe he can help you. Zhongwu seemed to see Yang Hao's entanglement, and she suggested to Yang Hao. A knowledgeable being. Emperor Qin? Or Gu Longsheng? Or is it the quasi-emperor dormant in the Holy Land? When Yang Hao heard this, he came to his senses. He got into a dead end. Behind him was the Holy Land of eternal life with endless heritage. Since he and Zhongwu could not discuss the outcome, there are hidden dragons and tigers in this Holy Land of eternal life. No one may be able to solve his mystery. Confused. With the talents and various auras he has displayed now, as long as he asks, no one in the Holy Land will refuse him. Neither. This one has more knowledge than all the people you mentioned. Seeing Yang Hao asking, Zhongwu laughed, but she thought of teasing Yang Hao and did not tell Yang Hao directly. More knowledgeable than these people. Yang Hao was stunned when he heard this. Just now, he even mentioned the quasi-emperor in the eternal Holy Land, but Zhongwu was sure that there was someone with more knowledge than the quasi-emperor. Fortunately, Yang Hao's wisdom was not low, he just pondered for a moment. After that, he showed a look of surprise. Thanks for the advice, Auntie. Yang Hao laughed, but he flew out in an instant and headed towards the Holy Land of eternal life. This little guy is really impatient and not afraid to ask the wrong person. Wu laughed, but she didn't expect that Yang Hao wouldn't even compare his answers with hers. However, Zhongwu believed that Yang Hao would not find the wrong person. She had made it very obvious. At this time, Yang Hao had already appeared in Eleven's realm. Fenglingdu. The location of the tomb of the Eternal Emperor. The only person who can be more knowledgeable than the quasi-emperor is the great emperor. Yang Hao smiled to himself. He didn't know about other holy places. There is indeed an emperor sitting in the eternal Holy Land all year round. Although it is just a remnant of the emperor, he is the emperor after all. Open. After arriving at Fenglingdu, Yang Hao released the soul of the powerful emperor who had become useless in the past without thinking. Rumble. This powerful soul of the great emperor became the key, directly opening the tomb of the great emperor. Naturally, the movement of the tomb of the great emperor being opened instantly attracted many powerful people from the Holy Land of eternal life. However, after seeing the opener, they all leave. This is not the first time that Yang Hao has opened the emperor's tomb. He was able to open the emperor's tomb without consuming a lot of resources. Naturally, he has been recognized by the emperor's soul, and they will naturally not control him. It is you. How could it happen again? Huh? Has this happened again for thousands of years? My little friend has actually become a giant. However, there is indeed nothing good in this emperor's mausoleum. Yang Hao directly entered the familiar tomb of the great emperor. Not long had passed since the last time he entered the tomb of the great emperor. However, Yang Hao's cultivation level had jumped from the third level of the great power realm to the giant realm, which made even the soul of the great emperor confused. Met the great emperor. It hasn't been that long since the last time. This time I ventured in, not for the treasure, but because I wanted to ask the emperor something. When asking for help, Yang Hao was very polite. It seems like you've had a lot of adventures these days. Since you are my junior, if you have any questions, please ask. If I know, it doesn't hurt to tell you. Hearing Yang Hao's words, the emperor's ghost looked at Yang Hao and said with twinkling eyes. Does the emperor know where the law of destiny exists? Yang Hao got straight to the point and asked immediately. Where does the law of destiny exist? You are now in the 8th level of the giant realm. Could it be that you want to understand the law of fate? Yes, it seems that your chances are not small, you have the aura of destiny in you. On Ziwei Star, the laws of destiny exist all year round in the 3 places of Minghai, Tianxu, and Zhongaianhai. As for other territories, kindness. Do you have a destiny? The emperor's ghost said casually, but suddenly paused, his eyes suddenly widened, looking at Yang Hao with an incredulous look, and asked immediately. When? Yang Hao heard this, he immediately said it's a coincidence. He was not surprised that the emperor's soul of the eternal emperor could see that he possessed a destiny gate. After all, the emperor's soul could see through the fact that he had 81 divine palaces at a glance. Obviously, even if it was just a soul, possessing extremely miraculous abilities. Don't use the destiny gate. However, the next moment, the soul of the eternal emperor said to Yang Hao very solemnly. What's the meaning? Yang Hao was stunned by this. Literal meaning. Unless you can cultivate the will of destiny, don't enter the gate of destiny. The emperor's relic reminded Yang Hao extremely seriously, his tone even a little harsh. The gate of destiny corresponds to the world of Avenue of Destiny. In the world of the Avenue of Destiny, the Avenue of Destiny flows. If you cultivate the will of destiny, you will at least be able to maintain your original intention in it. If you enter before you have completed the divine will of destiny, you will be assimilated by the Avenue of Destiny and become the law of destiny between heaven and earth. I don't need to explain the concept of being assimilated into a law after you have even cultivated a great avenue. Hearing the explanation of the emperor's soul, Yang Hao suddenly broke out in cold sweat. These days, he has thought about using the destiny gate countless times. Fortunately, he has a long-term view and does not do short-term things. Fortunately, Zhongwu also tried to persuade him. Otherwise, he might fall into it after entering the gate of destiny. Thank you, Emperor. I will remember this kindness for future generations. Please continue to give me your guidance. Yang Hao asked politely again. Ziwei Star, except for these 3 places, the laws of destiny are all illusory and have no fixed place. The Sea of End Yan should have disappeared. Tianxu will only appear if the road is opened. Only in the underworld do you have some hope. The emperor's remnant soul didn't hide anything, he continued to say slowly. Minghai. Does the emperor know how to protect himself in it? Yang Hao was refreshed. He didn't know whether it was Tianxu or Zhongaianhai. However, the Minghai mentioned by the emperor's soul was exactly what he wanted to ask. Minghai is simple. A supremely defensive Jidao imperial weapon can protect you. The emperor's ghost heard this and said casually. The ultimate imperial soldier with ultimate defense. Yang Hao hesitated and said, Wei Tower counts. Special imperial weapons naturally do not count. Is this a picture of the creation of the immortal king? Okay. Extraterrestrial artifacts are of no use. What about this eternal night umbrella? Huh? You have a lot of magical objects on your hands, but these are the parts that cover the sky. If you can complete them, you can come and go freely. Yang Hao. Seeing this, the emperor's ghost smiled mysteriously and said, Don't worry. Since you have come to look for me, I have my own way. If you don't have the chance, I won't bother to tell you too much.